Hey, it's Craig. I'm going to show you a little garden update. We were out on vacation for a little while, long weekend, and I came back to the garden and I was pleasantly surprised. This has been one of the hottest summers on record that I can remember. I had the sprinklers on it when we were gone. I just came out to start harvesting tomatoes, and I thought I should show you because this is a new variety for me. I have, I don't know, maybe 15 or 16 of these plants. These are a Roma style tomato. It's a burpee tomato, and it's called Gladiator. And I've never grown this before, but the reason I went with it was just to give it a try to see, in terms of canning, like how well this would can. And these are really nice tomatoes. Now normally I had grown Big Mama, which was a burpees hybrid, San Marzano, and they typically would grow to about this size, which, you know, that's a nice probably 5 to 6 ounce fruit. But there's a lot of these size, which are more like, probably, maybe this is more like a 6 ounce. And this one's, that one I had was probably more like 4. But there's a number of them that are still on the vine, and I thought I would show you because it's really remarkable how many there are. The one thing I didn't think about was in the eventuality that I got that many tomatoes, what would I do with the weight? Because this year I went to this container gardening, and these are 5-gallon pots, and what I'm finding is if they get dry, you can't let them get dry, but if they do, any amount of wind will blow them over. There's a number of these guys in here. These are just starting to turn, and I probably would have a lot more tomatoes if it wasn't for the fact that it's been so hot. This is, believe it or not, these are early girls, and they're no earlier than the San Marzanos, but these are my canning tomatoes for sauce, and I can these whole, and then I make sauce with them in the winter. And then the early girls were just for BLTs and sandwiches and that kind of thing. So I'm going to harvest those. Marigolds have been doing really well, and they've been doing their job at keeping the rabbits out. I have a hodgepodge here of peppers. This is the one pepper plant that has not really, I've got a couple of these. This is a Thai, and I am putting on a lot of flowers, but it's really been late. It's been, you know, you can see it's not really super bushy. The leaves are pretty small. And it's been just taking a while to put fruit on, but slowly but surely these will turn red and they will turn super hot. Here's my jalapenos. They're finally coming on, setting a number of fruit. I can actually see it better in the viewfinder than I can just looking at it, but they're setting some fruit. I have a number of those. The bell peppers, they really haven't been doing so well, but they're usually late. These are Hungarian hots. This is a nice one right here. That's a pretty nice pepper. Putting down straw made a lot of difference in keeping moisture in. If I pull it away, soil's really nice and damp. It's been holding a lot of moisture, which is good. Another jalapeno there. Got a nice bell pepper there. Oh, here's another bell pepper in this bed. This one's a little slow. These bell peppers have a big, fat, really dark green leaf. Much different than some of these other ones. Here's my sunflowers that I put in here as a pollinator. They've done pretty well. All right, let's see. Yeah, you can see these guys are pretty small. But here we are at the middle of August. Finally, the peppers are really starting to come on. This plant This plant's pretty loaded. And that's typically what happens here. We're in zone 6A. Every day has been above 85 easily with high humidity. The past 7 or 8 days we've had a few 90-degree days. It's been just stifling, not a cloud in the sky. This is the craziest summer for us where we are. It's just never like this. In this bed, I already showed you some of those peppers down here, but I've got some other these are sweet Hungarians that are in this bed. Have 2 early girl tomatoes. We'll be pulling those out. Here's some small peppers. I've been pruning, trying to get these things to produce more fruit, and that has worked because there was no fruit on this plant at all until I started stripping and getting rid of some of the vegetation. And here's another jalapeno, and you can see we're starting to load up. I've been pickling these guys. These are a hot Hungarian. They're pretty spicy, but they're really good pickled. And I've got a bunch of those. Here's another Thai that's finally setting on. I also had a carnival variety that I was really interested in seeing this year because it basically was an ornamental type of pepper that had purple, yellow, red, green, all different kinds of colors. Kind of looked like a Christmas bush, but I don't see it here, so I'm thinking it didn't make it. But these are really good pickled or stuffed. Here's my leeks and onions. The red onions I've already harvested, and I've pickled those. And these onions are just white onions, relatively small. They're starting to fold over, so they're pretty much going to be done. The leeks, still have some more time on those. Here's a secondary crop of beets. I've got some in here I'm going to need to thin, and I'll do that. Marigolds that I'm going to have to deadhead, but they've been doing really good. And then here's some more of those gladiators. These were the first ones I planted. They're smaller, and the plants are smaller, which I'm not really sure why. These are so much smaller. The ones that are over there, I don't know if you can see how tall those are, but they're every bit 6'3", 6'5". Some of those are taller than me. And then these, in the full sun, I think it was too much. And those are half the day's shade, so I think that's why they're doing better. Have some more beets growing here, a few more onions, leek over there. Unimpressive broccoli. It's just been way too hot. I've got all plant and I've got no heads, so these are going to get yanked. Pumpkins have been pretty impressive. Let me go over there and I'll show you those. Here's the basil. You can see how tall this is. It's almost up to my waist. I gotta pick these flowers though. I'm gonna have to do this tomorrow. And this will encourage growth outward, not upward. And it won't put all this energy into flowers and go into seed. But when you have, I got about 9 or 10 basil plants in this 10-gallon grow bag, and it's doing fantastic. I haven't fertilized it in a long time. Just watering it every day, pulling out all the buds if I can. All right, so here's our Atlantic Giants, or Big Macs, I believe these are. These are Big Macs. These are some of the 2 latest fruits, and they're just starting to turn orange. Last week they were really yellow. I'll show you here. I got really crushed by the squash vine borer. Hit me there, hit me down there, hit me there. But if you look, what I did is I got in here with my Leatherman and I found them and I killed them, and I wound up thinning anything that was yellow. I thinned those vines cut them out, found those worms and killed them, squished them. You can see what they do. They just open up things. It got me there. Look at that hole. But yet, this is still feeding on the outside. And it's still feeding the pumpkin that's down over here. Here's some of my bigger ones. These are nice sized pumpkins. Mosquitoes are out, so we're going to end this video soon. But what I did is I took some compost, piled it up on top from the vine of the pumpkin, piled it up here. And when I did that 2 weeks ago, this pumpkin doubled in size, as did this one. I did the same thing over here. Piled a bunch of compost right where that goes to the vine. You can see that? Because these vines send shoots down, and that has really made a big difference in the growth of these. So pretty excited about that. I'll take you more over to 2 more of these plants. Whew, mosquitoes are out good. This is a mixture of Atlantic giants and butternut squash. Butternut squash you don't have to worry about. The vine borer, they don't like it. There's a nice one here. That'll be good. That's still young. That's got to turn tannish brown. Here's a pile of compost. I did the same thing. There's a nice sized pumpkin right there. That's good and heavy. It's probably a 10 or 12 pounder. And then I got this big guy. Oh, got a little friend in there, I see. I got this big guy. This is probably my biggest one now. This guy's my biggest, no doubt. That's the biggest one I have. And it's been laying in there, sheltered from all the leaves, hiding. So, pretty excited about that. Alright, so that's the garden update. Tomorrow we're going to start, I got some bunch of tomatoes that I got to get picked tonight. I'm going to do some sauce and tomatoes tomorrow, but I thought I'd give you an update of where things are in the middle of August. It has been so stinking hot. Just wanted to let you know, once things get a little bit cooler, we'll start working on other projects. As for now, this is what's been going on, that and enjoying the summer. It's short, hot, and sweet. Thanks all for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.